conversation. Okay, I told that some dyes, some yarn are dyed when they are in the form of a yarn, while some fabrics after making the piece of fabric that is dyed. Okay, not the yarn, but once the fabric is made, then it is dyed. So we will see such stages. First is the fiber stage. What is a fiber? A fiber is the very basic stage, like right after obtaining it from the plant or animal, the thin threads that are there, okay, those are fibers. Then they are twisted and made yarn. Then they're twisted and made a thicker thread called yarn. So before yarn comes fibers. There are very thin strands of a material, or like very thin strands of fibers are there. Okay, so at that stage also they are dyed. Okay, some of the fibers are dyed at the fiber stage. Though all types of fibers can be dyed at this stage, this method is more popular for dyeing man-made fibers because it gives uniform dyeing and it is color fast. There's a lot of wastage of colored fibers during subsequent processing. Okay, so the synthetic fibers or the man-made fibers are dyed at this stage only. Once they are obtained, okay, then right after that they are dyed. That is the fiber stage. Okay, then we have the yarn stage. Now, color can be applied or rendered, that is popular term used in textile dyeing, on fibers after spinning into yarns, especially when they have to be sold as such. Knitting yarns and all types of threads, sewing, embroidery, crocheting, etc. are dyed at this stage. So if you've seen the colorful yarn balls that the cat plays with, okay, or that the elder people weave with, okay,
Yeah.
knit with. So those colorful yarn balls, those balls are made up of yarn, okay, thicker thread, okay, a thicker thread, and that yarn, before selling it, before it is sold, it is dyed, okay. That yarn is dyed, and they like take the yarn and they like dip it into color and all of that, then dry it, and then it is sold. So they come in various colors and various types of threads are there. Some are like thinner, some are like medium thick, some are very thick, based on what you are going to do with it. Like sewing threads are different, they're thin comparatively. Then crocheting or embroidery threads are a little thicker, right?
Yeah.
So they are all dyed at yarn stage. Some are dyed at yarn stage. Then there is fabric stage. Most of the dyeing in the textile industry is done at this stage. And fabrics are dyed in one solid color. Okay, solid color means not like solid color like red, okay, or navy blue. Okay, and they are dyed in a solid color. It gives uniform coloring. Okay, so uniform coloring means like the dye will be there on the entire cloth uniformly. Okay, not like some parts are colored, some are left. No, or evenly. The dye will be on the cloth evenly. Color matching becomes easier at this stage. This method is also suitable for dyeing blended fabric. We talked about blended fabric, like which is right, which is cotton and synthetic mix, cotton nylon or cotton rayon. Okay, so those are blended fabrics. Blends are made by mixing two fibers together and then made into a yarn and a fabric. Like we take cotton fiber and nylon fiber. Cotton is natural, nylon is synthetic. Okay, we take cotton fiber, nylon fiber, and then together they are twisted, spun, twisted to make a yarn, to make a thicker thread. And with that yarn, fabrics are made. So, for like dyeing these kind of clothes, okay, blended fabrics and all, fabric stage, the clothes are dyed at fabric stage. Then there is garment dyeing. Sometimes dyeing is done at the stage that is after the garments have been stitched. This is also known as piece dye. Since a garment is dyed, there is no fabric wastage, but the color may not be uniform, especially around the seams, pleats, and gathers. If you have a garment which has been dyed just now, open one pleat or seam. You'll find that the fabric inside the seam will be lighter or darker depending on the time and exposure of fabric to the dyeing medium. See, now what happens is that in the fabric stage, okay, yarn stage is like the thicker thread. When the fabric stage, there is a like piece of cloth, okay, it can be rectangular or square, okay. It is not stitched yet, okay, like to give it a shape of a t-shirt, okay, it needs to be cut, it needs to be stitched, okay, but it is not yet. So they take the entire piece of cloth, okay, and they dye it. So what happens in this fabric stage is that evenly the color comes on the entire piece of cloth evenly. The color comes on the entire piece of cloth evenly, okay, because it is dyed as a whole sheet of cloth, right? But what happens in garment dyeing? Garment dyeing, first your t-shirt is stitched, okay. First your t-shirt is stitched, and then it is dyed. Okay. So it may be possible that the sleeves and this area is not dyed properly. Okay. Or if suppose a sari is there, so some part is not dyed properly. Or like a skirt is there. Suppose a pleated skirt is there, like this. Okay. A pleated skirt is there. What happens is if it is dyed, then in between the pleats, the area that is in between the pleats will not be dyed, okay, because it is like pleated evenly, it will not happen at garment stage, okay. While if before before making the pleats, before stitching the skirt, if it is dyed in fabric stage, then evenly the entire thing will be dyed, okay. So usually fabric stage, our clothes are dyed mostly in the fabric stage, the entire thing. Then they are stitched, pleated, seamed, okay. But garment dyeing is like once it is stitched, after that the dyeing takes place. Okay, and color may not be uniform. We read this. Okay, somewhere it will be lighter, somewhere it will be darker. Okay, like that. This is also known as piece dye. Yeah, this method is known as piece dye. Now, next we have decorative dyeing. You already know about simple dyeing. When the process of dyeing is carried out in a selective way to get different designs, it is called decorative or resist dyeing. The term resist dyeing is used because in these techniques, some resist materials are used on specific areas to prevent them from being dyed. A number of beautiful designs can be created in this manner. Two of the most popular techniques are tying and dyeing and batik. Okay. I'll give you a very simple example. Suppose what I did is I made a 1 second. Yes, I made a painting. Okay, I made a painting. Okay, I like want to make a painting, right? And I want moon in it. Okay, and I'm going to spray paint it. Okay, I'm going to spray paint it and I want a moon. Okay. So what I will do is I will cut like tape. Okay. Like I will cut pieces of tape. Suppose this is moon. I will put one piece here, one piece here, three pieces of tape I have. I'll stick. Okay. Only on the moon area. Then I will spray paint the whole thing black and blue. Okay, the sky I'm making because I'm making a sky. So black and blue, I'm going to spray paint it, the whole thing. Okay. Then when I remove the tape, what happens is that area will be left white. I'll have the moon. Right. That area will be left white and it will like I will have the moon. Similarly, in the same way, resist dying. Resist dying is that some resist materials, like in the form of like we use tape, just like that, some thread, yarn, or wax are used on specific areas to prevent them from being dyed. So it will give you that left out texture. The whole thing is, print, and then there is something in the middle left white, or, you know. So that is like preventing it. That is why it is called resist dyeing. Now, it is like carried out in a selective way to get different designs. Selective way means only selective portion of the piece of cloth is dyed. Only selective portion of your fabric will be dyed. Another beautiful designs can be created in this manner. Now remember I explained to you about tie and dye. Okay, about tie and dye, I'm going to show you an image of how that looks like after tie and dye, how it looks. So it's going to give you an idea. Okay, look here. Can you see? Can you see the pattern? Okay. It's like in the form of a rainbow. So what they did is when they tied it like this, when they yes, and they tied it like this. Okay. So here they applied one color, then they applied the next color. Okay. Then they applied like green, then blue, then purple. Okay. And then they tied it like this. Okay, this. So you can see the like white stripes that are there, right? That is the dyed portion. And you can see the circular design is because of the how they've like put it in paint. Okay. So this is one example. Also look at this design. This is also tie and dye. You can see the white lines in the t-shirt is from the, thread that was used to tie it. So that portion remained white. Okay. These is the tie and dye thing. Okay. And batik. Batik is like small white color things are left. The whole thing is dyed. The whole thing is dyed. This is mostly in saris and suits. The whole thing is dyed. But small white dots or small white designs or circles are there. Okay. Or like white designs are there in parts of it. So that is why like not this. I think I'm getting erasing it. But yes, it is like in the fabric. There is white color lines, okay, white color things. There are white places are left in the form of print. So that is that it was tied from those places, and the rest of the fabric was colored, but those places remained white. Okay, this is the technique basically that they use. That is known as decorative dyeing. Okay, or resist dyeing. Now, tie and dye. In tie and dye, threads are used as a resist material to stop the dye from entering the selected area of the fabric, right? Then, tying of the fabric is done according to the design to be made. There are many ways in which you can create designs using tie and dye. Like different ways you can tie the fabric and put it in paint, okay, or put different paints, and then it will give different results. This is marbling, okay, figure 11.4. Take the fabric and crumble it to form a ball. Tie it with a thread at different areas randomly. Then dye the fabric. Open it and dry. The dyed fabric will have a marble effect. Okay. Have you seen a marble? Like the text, some places it's light and some places it's dark. It's if we take a look at this one, marble. Okay. And this one also, okay, very uneven. Okay, marble. These are all marble. Okay, then Then we have binding. Pick up the fabric, dupatta, tablecloth, or bedsheet from one point and tie with a thread at intervals and dye it. Okay, intervals and dye it. Like look how they have like from one point and dyed with a thread at intervals. How they've like pleated it somewhat and then dyed it. Okay, so what this happens, this can like give it a print like this. Like this is the dupatta and
Okay.
somewhere colored, then white, colored, white, colored, white, or
Okay.
something like that.
Wait, so
Then
ma'am, when they
yes,
put the thread around the fabric and they dip it in the dye, the
mm,
thread will also the thread will be colored, but then
yes, thread will
behind,
be covered.
but then that part of the fabric will be white.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, thread will be colored, but that part will remain white. Okay, and the thread is later removed.
Okay.
So we will have the white design. Okay. Then there is knotting. Put knots on the fabric wherever desired and dye it. Like only the knots are dyed. Then when they are open, they form a shape, maybe a flower or something. The depends on how you are tying the knot. Okay. Only that portion will be colored. You'll have like four flowers or something. Then folding. Put the fabric flat on a table, pleat, and fold it uniformly in lengthwise direction. Tie it with a yarn at regular intervals to get widthwise lines after line. For horizontal lines, pleat and fold the fabric widthwise. Roll the fabric from one corner to the diagonally opposite corner and tie it at regular intervals to get diagonal lines. Okay? Like this is to get lines like this. Okay? Or like this. Okay? Or like this. Okay? Or this I have shown you. Yeah, it depends on the folding, okay, on the tying. Now, there is also peg tying. You can also use cloth pegs or clamps as a resist material. Fold the fabric and put pegs at regular intervals. Okay, like these are like small things, okay, which are put around the like fabric or like folded and then put like clips or like clamps are put. You know what's a clamp, right? Like a holder that holds in like so folded
Yeah.
the clamp like that. Okay. Then there is three thick. Make a design of your choice in the fabric with a running stitch. Pull the thread tightly and tie it. This is also make a design, pull the thread tightly and tie it. Then you later open it. Okay. That is also there. Now, dyed and dyed fabrics. Patola fabrics of Gujarat and Bandhani of Rajasthan are two famous traditional textiles of India made by tie and dye technique. Both are usually dyed in two or more dyes by resist dyeing techniques. But there is a difference between the stages at which they are tied and dyed. Stages at which they are tied and dyed. In Patola, the yarn is tied and dyed according to the design before weaving and are then woven to form intricate multicolor design. Whereas woven fabric is tied and dyed to have innumerable dots and lines in Bandhani. Okay. Do you want to see an image of both the fabrics?
Sure.
Okay. Seen this fabric? This is known as patola. Even I've seen it, but I didn't know the name.
Okay.
So this is from Gujarat, and like the threads are dyed here first. The yarn are dyed, and then from the yarn, from the thread, these kind of designs are made. Okay.
Okay.
Whereas in like Rajasthan, if you've seen these designs, this is saris. Okay, this is mostly saris. Very popular in Rajasthan. This design, this kind of print. This is also like done by dye and dye. Okay, and but it's like not really dyed like that. But threads are used to do it, and then they are dyed, and then that is removed.
Okay.
So it gives these designs. Now, dyed and dyed have innumerable dots and lines. That is the hairy or like the wavy pattern in bandhani. Okay, what's the same thing? Both are dyed in two or more dyes by recess dyeing techniques. There's a similarity. And the difference is that patula yarn is dyed and dyed according to the design before weaving, while woven fabric, after the fabric is woven, then it is dyed and dyed in bandhani, that is a Rajasthan technique. Okay, these are good examples, very good examples. I would really want you to memorize them. Okay, whenever you're mentioning tie and dye, mention these examples. Okay, mention these examples of Patola fabric of Gujarat and Bandhani of Rajasthan. Okay, and methods of tie and dye you have to do. Okay, sorry, decorative dyeing. You need to do decorative dyeing. Okay, then we have an activity. Dipti was happy as she was finally able to buy a sari with a beautiful tie and dye design on it. She was happy also because her sari was much cheaper than her friend Nidhi's sari. She proudly exhibited her possession to everybody at home, and she also bragged that it is so inexpensive. However, her mother asked her to think about the possible reason for her sari being priced so low. Discuss the following. What could be the reason for Nidhi's sari being more expensive, and how can you differentiate between a genuine and a fake piece of tie and dye? Could the place of production uh, or the sale outlet also influence the price of Dipti's sari? Needed to take a minute and think about it and answer these questions. Now, what could be the reason for Nidhi's sari being more expensive? What do you think? Because I think because Nidhi's sari is original, like original tie and dye. Okay, and there are also fake tie and dyes. Okay, there are also like fake these things because imagine that What the producer did is they dyed the sari fabric, the entire thing. Okay. Suppose red. Then they took white paint or white dye, okay, brush, and then put designs on it. Okay. And then sold it as dye. Is that dye? No. That is what a fake dye. So it could be this reason that this was a fake dye. Okay, maybe the manufacturer made lines with a dye paint or something. Okay, and then said it's a dye and dye. Okay, possible. Also, how can you differentiate between a genuine and a fake piece of tie and dye? Um, price. Okay, price is there. Okay, usually fake tie and dyes are cheaper compared to the actual tie and dye. You can differentiate on the basis of price, the cost. Okay, you can differentiate on the basis of the quality. Okay, fake usually looks like you know looks a little different than the original. Okay, the material also, the print also. Okay, everything's gonna look a little different than the original. So by seeing it, checking the quality, price, you can differentiate it. Okay, then could the place of production and or sale outlet also influence the price of the sari? Yes. If it is an original one also, then some states, they like where there is an enormous huge production of these tie and dye, the price is going to be lesser. Okay, the price is going to be lesser, and whereas because they are produced in huge quantities, so the price is going to be little lesser compared to the places where they are not produced so much, but it comes from other states. Their price will gonna be higher. Gonna be higher. Also, if you are directly purchasing from a mill, if you are directly purchasing from a mill, okay, that is from the factory where the sari is made, directly from the producer. Suppose I'll get a sari directly from the mill or from the producer for 1,000 rupees. If I go and buy from the shop, I will get it, I'll be getting it for 1,600 or 1,800. Okay, why? Why is this difference? Is because this is profit of the seller. Profit of the seller. Okay. If I'm getting it directly from the mill, okay, then it will cost me less. But when that sari, when it goes from the mill to the shopkeeper, what will be added in it? Transportation, okay, transportation cost, distribution cost, profit, okay, that the shopkeeper also needs profit. Right, they're selling things, they need profit. Then from mill to shop, the sari is coming. Transportation charge is gonna be there. Distribution charge is gonna be there. Profit's gonna be there. So I will get the sari from the shop at 1,600, which has all the cost. But if I'm buying it from the mill, from the factory, I will get it for 1,000 because there is no profit involved, no seller's profit. Okay, no distribution, transportation charges are added to it yet, but it will add it later. It will add it in this chain, production chain. It will add it later. It will be added later. Okay, so this is why if we are cost of could the place of production and sale outlet, they influence the price of sari. Okay, cost of production. Okay, like place of production. If she's buying from the place of production from the factory, gonna be lesser price. If she's buying from the sale outlet, that is from the shop, then costlier. Okay, so this also influences the price of an item. This also influences the price of an item. Understood now? Understood all the three questions? Understood all the three questions?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, good. Then we have batik. Batik is also a method of resist dyeing. Here, Wax is used as a resist material to prevent the dye from coloring certain areas. Okay, what's the difference? That time threads were used. Here, wax is used. Okay, wax is used as resist material to prevent the dye from coloring certain areas. On selected areas of the fabric, a mixture of beeswax and paraffin wax is filled with a brush or a block according to the design. These areas do not get colored when dyed and give a patterned effect, and the wax is later removed. Okay, they apply beeswax or paraffin wax, and then they dye the entire thing. So when wax is applied, those places the color doesn't come. Okay, like it doesn't get dyed, and then they later remove the wax. So those places will have those places will be white, like moon. Okay, this way. Okay. Then we have printing. Let's see and understand how printing of fabrics is carried out. Keep two fabrics side by side. One a red colored fabric and the other a fabric having red print. Observe the difference between the two carefully. Um, though both fabrics have red color, but the dyed fabric is red all over. All over. The complete color is red, while the printed one, only certain areas are of red color. Maybe a red flower will be there, maybe a red something written with red will be there. Only some portion. Okay, that will be printed thing, but the thing that is completely red, the piece of cloth is completely red is gonna be red dyeing. Okay, red dye. You already know that dyeing is a process of coloring the fabric. Printing is also a process of coloring fabric, but here color is applied only in selected areas to create designs which decorate the fabric surface. To decorate the fabric surface, piece of the fabric, designs are created. Okay, and it does not dye the whole thing, but only some part of the fabric. What are the major difference? What's the major difference between dyeing and printing? Major difference between dyeing and printing is that dyeing is carried out in fiber, yarn, or fabric stage, but printing is done only on the fabric surface or only in fabric stage.
Okay.
Okay, only on fabric. Can you make prints on yarn, on thread,
No.
on thin threads, or on yarn ball? No, we cannot make prints on that, right? We can only make prints on piece of cloth, an entire piece of fabric. So while dyeing is done at all the three stages, printing is only done at the fabric stage. Okay. This is also known as selective dyeing. Popular method or techniques of printing are block printing, screen printing, roller printing, stencil printing. I've also seen hand printing. Hand printing. Block printing. Or sorry, hand painting. Maybe that is a little different. Printing is done by painting fabric with hand. Okay, that's like beautiful. Saris are there mostly in that thing that prints. Okay, in which prints are there which come by hand, which are made by hand, painted by hand. Now, block printing and batik are two traditional printing methods. Here we will learn the details of only one type of printing, that is block printing. Okay, you only have block printing in your course. Okay, you don't have screen printing, roller printing, stencil printing. But I'll give you a little introduction about all four. Okay, so that if like methods of printing or techniques of printing question comes, you will know about all four. You can write like little about all four, five. Okay,
Yeah.
we will stop here for today, and tomorrow we will continue from techniques or popular methods of printing. Okay.
Okay. Also, ma'am,
Yes.
we will have a home science and English test on Friday, right?
One is Thursday and one is Friday.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, English. is I guess I've kept it on Thursday. Do you have another test on Thursday? No, right?
No.
Yes, because Edric has a test on Friday. He has a Hardik sir's class tests are there on Fridays. So
Okay.
I checked that and accordingly I kept Edric's test will be Thursday, that is English, and your and Megan's home science will be Friday. So Edric will be free for his science and maths on Friday.
Okay.
Edric will be
What
having science and
chapters
maths.
will it be on, ma'am?
What chapters will it be? I put it in the group. Okay. In
Okay.
home science, the sixth chapter, and English we have the um, English. I don't remember the chapter number, but you can look it, check it in the group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, then see you in English. Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye, ma'am.